everybody. Thank you for being here today. This webinar will be about young BPW for organizational sustainability. For us in BPW, it is very important that we look after our young BPW members, because they are not only, as we used to say, the future of BPW, they are the present, and we need to be aware of the importance that they are well prepared to maintain the sustainability of BPW International. Today, our main speaker will be Neelima Basnet. She is the Young BPW International representative. She is a BPW Nepal member, and she was the past Young BPW representative in her federation. The contributors will be Otoha Hayashi. She is from BPW Japan. She is a community lead and she's working in We Work in Corporation. Actually, she is the chair of the organization committee in BPW Japan, past Young BPW regional representative representing her region Asia Pacific, and past Young BPW representative in Japan. Benedetta Palermo, she is from Italy, she's a lawyer, and currently she's the BPW representative in BPW Europe. She's a past Young BPW district representative in Italy, past Young BPW club representative in her club in Rome, Italy. Tomi Odunsi-Fadina, her profession is actor, singer, songwriter. She is a CEO of CGT Media Ltd. She is a BPW young representative in her club, Lekki, Nigeria. And we have Sheerah Kim. Her profession is Senior Analyst, Corporate Strategic Development and Performance Management. She is currently a BPW Switzerland member. She is a young BPW representative in Zurich, her club. And she is also in charge of the program committee in her club in Zurich, Switzerland. Thank you very much for this enthusiastic group of young BPWs. The floor is yours.
Namaste to everyone. I'm Neelima Basnet, Young BPW International representative for the year 2017 to 2020. So before I start the presentation, I want to go back to 1919, when our founder, Lena Madison Phillips, started this organization at the age of 38. She brought the women of USA together to form National Federation of Business and Professional Women, a women's club in USA. And then in 1930, at the age of 49, she was able to start, found International Federation of Business and Professional Women in Geneva, in Switzerland, with the member countries like Austria, Canada, France, Italy, Great Britain, and USA. So now we have like more than 100 countries around the world. So this proves that if you have the passion to bring a change in the world, then age is just a number. So with this, I would like to start the presentation. The topic for today is Young BPW for Organizational Sustainability. As you all know, the theme for the BPW for this triennium is empowering women to realize sustainable development goals. The United Nations has 17 goals that they want to achieve by 2030, whereas we have one more goal, that is BPW sustainability, and for which without young members, it is impossible. So starting with this, I would like to focus that for the sustainability of BPW, it really relies on the attraction, engagement, retention of young members. So I believe everyone approves this statement. And with few topics that I have today, the first topic is youth leadership. Globally, we have seen that in every civil and political movements, youth are always in the front. But when it's time to make the decision, we are not in the decision-making table. So it is high time that we work as an actors, as stakeholders, so that we can change the nation. We have a 34-year-old young lady who's running a country. She's younger than me. So it's high time we bring more young women to the power. And for that, we need a platform for which BPW can work as a very big, uh, uh, organization, which can bring a lot of women leaders front. And for this, we have the first topic is youth leadership. BPW can provide different kind of trainings, whereas webinar series, we have a lot of webinar series going on nowadays because of the technology. And then you can attend, you can learn from a lot of speakers who will be there. And besides that, we also have Leadership Summit. Leadership Summit is a BPW summit of leaders from all over the world who come to New York every year. And that is where you learn what is happening around the world within BPW and also CSW. CSW, the full form of CSW is Commission of Status of Women. This takes place every year at United Nations, and women from all over the world, they come there to change the status of women. They come to form the zero draft that comes out in the end of the conference. That's a 2-week conference. So for this, BPW has been giving CSW passes. I remember in 2019, we had like 5 passes for young members, which was a great achievement because BPW only has 20 passes to give to the young members. And this year we had 2 passes, but it was canceled, so we couldn't attend it. So, this is very important that the young members, they are aware about the passes and they try to get those passes. And also we need to formalize trainings, other programs, like we have a leadership training that takes place in different parts of the world, which has been approved by BPW International. But we need more trainings because we have so many members. To make them, be in BPW, we have to have something to offer. And that is when the clubs, the members, especially the young ones, we need to demand that we need trainings. And this is something which I know that a lot of big organizations, other organizations, they are giving priority to trainings because that is when, they can put the members inside their clubs. And another one is mentoring. Mentoring is something that I think is very important in BPW because we have different generation of women, and there is so much to learn from them and so much to share as well. And for that, we need to include online training, reverse mentoring models that has been implemented in different clubs. I know Hong Kong is doing that as well. And also to have one young BPW member on the executive committee and task force, because we have different committees that are working for different fields, and then task force, which are some are very active. And then we see that the number of young members are very few. I see really few numbers of members who are part of it. So if we engage them in these task forces and committee, I think we'll have more members who will stay in BPW for a longer time. And also, as you all know, that United Nations it was in 2018 has come up with this new strategy called Youth 2030. It is about working with and for young people. So to achieve the sustainable development goals by 2030, it is very important that all the member states, they include the young members, young population into the conversation, because it is the future that we are working for. And if the future of this world are not aware of what current people are working with, we will be left behind. And to achieve that, it is really important that young members are included. And one of the best model about youth leadership in BPW is of Hong Kong. We have a president who is a young BPW member. Besides that, the percentage of younger members in the executive board member of BPW Hong Kong it's like really high. It's like more than 40-50%. And even the last president was a young BPW member. And that has been very inspirational for me because when I say about young leadership, everybody says that, what is that? And that's when I say, see for Hong Kong and learn from them. I remember that when I was going through one of the website, I saw that in 2003, there was a new project that was started. It was called Youth 2030, Young BPW on BPW board by youth by 2030. So, sorry, you need to edit this part. Sorry. So in 2003, there was a BPW project that was initiated. It was called Young BPW on BPW board by 2020. So we are standing in 2020 right now, and we have only one club we can look up to and say that we have a young BPW president. So I guess we need to work a little harder. The members need to make sure that they come up with innovative ideas to, give a platform for the young members to prove themselves that they can be young and they can be leaders as well. So this is what I have to say about this topic, and I would like to open the floor to our young members from around the world. And the floor is all yours, ladies.
Hello to everybody. I would like to add something about youth leadership, and I have another example of young BPW who is leading a club, who is the president of an affiliate club, BPW Latvia Riga. She's a young BPW member and she's the president of this club. And I'm really proud of her because she told me that at the beginning she was a bit scared about the reaction that the other members could have when they heard about her candidacy, because at the beginning maybe members are a bit there is a sort of unconscious bias, let's say, towards young members, but when young members have the possibility to show their expertise and their knowledge and also their experience in BPW, then they can be whatever they want. And for example, now she's the president of BPW Latvia Riga. In Europe, we can see many we can see that in many countries we have young BPW on boards. In BPW France, let's say, there's the young BPW representative is part of the board. In Germany, we have 3 young members on boards. We have the young BPW representative, but also other two young members are part of the board, not for young matters, but they are responsible for other things. And another great achievement is relevant to BPW Italy, because last year we voted for the first time in the story of BPW Italy the election of a young BPW representative who is part not really of the board, but of the council of the National Council, which is another committee who is in charge of work with the executive. And this is a really big thing, because BPW Italy is the biggest federation in BPW International, and it was strange that this biggest federation didn't have a young BPW on board. So the journey to have young BPW representative in BPW Italy hasn't been very easy, because I have to face with many executives, many presidents, many members who didn't think that it was important to have a young BPW in the board, but step by step, time by time, working with the other part of members, older members who supported young BPW, the young BPW cause, and they helped me to make everybody understand that about. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Sorry. And so I work with these BPW members who could support this big change to have a young BPW in Italy on board, and then all together, so young members with older members, we at the end we reached to have a younger BPW Italy representative in the National Council. And another example is that other young BPW members have created and realized BPW International project about young leadership, and this is very important because there's no need to have an official position. It's not really important to be a young BPW representative to carry out your program, because BPW BPW lets you carry out your program. So there is a platform, a website on BPW International about international projects, and you can find there project about the empowerment of young members, and these important projects are created by young members.
Hi, Benedetta. I actually completely agree when it comes to access. So making content accessible that actually BPW offers. And I do believe in the different regions, there are so many, the catalog of what BPW is making accessible to their members may be a little bit different. So, and for young people actually joining BPW and benefiting from it, I think we have to make it a little bit more accessible. I am a member and board member in Switzerland, but I relocated to Singapore and I've become a member in Singapore. And I realized that a lot of the content and leadership trainings, personal empowerment programs that BPW Academy offers in Switzerland is not accessible here in Singapore. So one of my goals is to make it accessible here. And it's not only, creating content to make courses and leadership trainings is good, but also I think the example that you just said about the projects, that people know about this, that they can apply for it and they can contribute no matter whether they're just a normal member or not. So it's not about just the position of being representative, it's about making it accessible also to normal members.
No, I completely agree with what Sheerah was saying, making the materials accessible, because we do have a lot of materials and we have a lot of people we can use as materials for mentorships. And it's not being shared properly. It's not shared appropriately, let's say. And for example, so when Sheerah told me before about the, leadership trainings and all sorts of trainings that happens in Switzerland, I was really shocked because obviously it's going to be in English most likely, and then it could have been something I could access to if I had an access to, and then benefit from it. And yeah, sometimes it might be a little bit difficult, especially in Asia Pacific, that when people don't understand the language, it tends to be the excuse that everybody told me all the time. And this is something I feel Asia Pacific's young BPW representative, but I think we can always tell people we can make the materials a little bit in easier English as well, so that people can actually use it as an opportunity to improve the English and communication skills as well. Being online on the Zoom meetings like this, if you're not comfortable with English, for example, then it might look like a very difficult thing, and it's a really difficult, like a very high wall to reach to. But actually, when you just kind of keep practicing it, then if somebody has to join a Zoom meeting for the business, they wouldn't be as scared and they wouldn't be as nervous because they're so used to it by just joining one in BPW, So material wise, I completely agree with you. And, that's something we can definitely do, but it's just, I think the young BPW International position, in my personal opinion, I think the person's too busy because she's doing a lot of the things on her own, or maybe with a couple of people who's around her, who's happy to help her. So we should definitely have a proper team, a team who can focus on a PR part, or just in regards to webinars, maybe a person can just always be the one to heavily involved with all the webinars, for example. Then I think we can maybe share the materials a lot easier, regardless of which region people are.
Leadership, youth leadership in BPW. Despite the fact that BPW, so in some parts of the world, can be very hierarchical, there are still some. For BPW Lekki, for instance, we do meetings together. We do meetings together. That's the Mother Club and the Young BPW Club. So in doing that, we're able to. Everybody is able to air their projection in BPW meetings, and we are not necessarily being relegated because we sort of work together. I think that if young members and BPW are able to synchronize some way, not, for instance, young people have a thing about they want to do their own thing, and the other people leaving the other people to do their own thing. But if there are points where we come together and have meetings together, I think that there will be a more synchronized connection between both BPW and young BPW. And in that way, that could foster more youth leadership in BPW. Let me give you an instance. And during our back to school tour, Young BPW Lekki is actually the one that came up with the back to school tour. But based on the success of the back to school tour project, Young BPW and BPW now comes together to do to organize a back to school mentorship program. Now, we didn't just go to tour, so we picked a school and we all come together to mentor students in that school. So if we're being bent on the fact that, oh, this is our project, we can't do it, this is maybe the BPW elders are trying to take the shine because of the success, so we would refuse not to work with them on the mentorship program, we will lose on both ends, because now the people that are supposed to be benefiting, which are the girls in the secondary school in the rural areas, will suffer for it. So I think the first step to achieving youth leadership in BPW is to get involved with the with the BPW elders, be able to attend meetings. Meetings are very important. In that way, you can actually air your opinion, and you can also learn how to air your opinion in a way that doesn't sound like you are being rude, or you know you know what I mean. So so these are the things that I have basically learned from attending meetings with the elders. There are ways to present your suggestion in a way that it's more empowering and inspiring than discouraging, basically. So I think that with this in BPW, like, we've been able to achieve that to a large extent because we do meetings together. So I suggest that any club that is having a little challenge on youth leadership in BPW should try suggest or try and get involved more in most of their meetings, get more involved, and pick up roles with courage. I mean, the older people also like young people that have confidence in themselves, not arrogance, but confidence in what they can do, and they'll definitely give you a chance to lead. If you portray the potentials of leadership, definitely, because they need as much help as well, and so we need as much help in BPW. Let me put it that way, and they're definitely open to having the young contribution in the institution. So I believe that can be done because young BPW Lekki has been able to achieve that with the back to school mentorship program. I think that we are still on it. We are currently still on it, but I think that we are doing well with it based on this particular topic. Thank you
for all your suggestion and comments, and for the great examples that we heard today. I think we, as a BP young members, are going into the right direction. We need little more hard work to bring it accessible to everyone around the world. So with this, I end this topic, and I would like to go to the next topic. It is called intergenerational dialogue. As you all know, that the best part about for BPW is that we have BPW members of different generations. So we have to create, a space for young members where we can speak up without any hesitation. That is what I have seen lacking in BPW, because no matter what happens, even when there is something right that you want to speak up, we always feel like we don't know much about that topic. So having a space where you speak up is really important. Even last year's United Nations Youth slogan was safe space for youth. So everyone has been talking about it, and intergenerational dialogue is something that even the UN has focused on for last few years. This intergenerational dialogue, it has been focused more on the sustainable development goals. So even the UN has initiated this dialogue to raise awareness of the high value that the youth and the old people can bring to the table. So this is something that we need to prioritize within BPW, because it's not only about learning from elders, but it's also about telling the elders what we need in this generation. And also another thing about BPW is, like, we need to, within the BPW, the clubs need to generate organizational changes that are relevant and which will be sustainable, because we have seen a lot of clubs they die after a few years because they don't are not up to date with the current with the dialogue that's been going around. So it is very important. And if you to emphasize on the United Nations, it's about how the conversation between the different generation needs to be addressed by the member states, not just BPW, but all the member states, they need to include the young members in the to achieve the sustainable development goals. So this platform has been open for like last few couple of years, and as a BPW members, we need to not just go to the UN for that conversation, but come back to our clubs and even start the conversation, so that we can be a part of this, global conversation that's been going on. So for BPW, the last one you can see is like the BPW Intergenerational Dialogue Project. Dr. Annie and me, we are the co-leaders of this project because we wanted to start this conversation. We started last August, and since then we have been having webinars every month, and and I think in last from August till now, I think I have learned so much about BPW, how the clubs are working around the world through this webinar, through this intergenerational dialogue, and this is something I believe is the future for the BPW, because right now we all are stuck in different parts of the world. This is the right time we can use the free time and learn from each other, so that if we survive this coronavirus, we can figure it out how to, not just work with your clubs or your, community. You can come up for the, how to work with in the country basis as well. So this is something that, this generational dialogue has been the hot topic for young members. And yes, I would like to hear what the young members have to say about it. The floor is yours, ladies.
Oh, well, I think that intergenerational dialogue is the best opportunity we have to make BPW International more sustainable. I can say that as young BPW members, we are used to learn from elders when we enter in BPW. We are used to listen to senior members, to use mentoring, not reverse model mentoring, but the normal one. So I think the actual challenge is to combine the two ways, as you said. Learn from elders, which is very important, but also teach elders what young members want. And it is really difficult because it's a new way of thinking, I think, but changing the perspective, which is the aim of this webinar, is the only thing. Only thinking out of the box for everybody can make BPW more sustainable. I can say again, it's not easy. I have had to face a lot of obstacles when I've tried to introduce and to propose to modify the BPW Italy Constitution and introduce the position of young BPW in Italy. But step by step, and let's say teaching to BPW members why this was so important for young members, at the end I've been able to achieve this goal. So I think that it's a key topic right now, this intergenerational dialogue.
Yeah, so I completely agree. The intergenerational dialogue has been really, really good. And then personally, I've been really impressed and then really happy that like the turn up seems to be really good, because it's not just the young people or like sometimes maybe there's no young members attending or anything. There's always seems to be like a good variation in the generations as well. And then also the it's not always the same region people there. We always have different region people, at least like 3 different regions are always being represented. And I think this is something everybody's been wanting to do, for a very, very long time. So, like it's been a really, really great opportunity. And then, I think a lot of people like maybe think like, sometimes like people just talk with each other and then you actually get quite content because the opportunity wasn't even there before, you know, to talk to each other. But what's really important is something I've been thinking these days, is that like we talk about what we can actually do and then actually put that into practice as well. Because, you know, we can keep talking and talking for hours about like, you know, what we want to do and what would be amazing to do if we can achieve it. But if we don't actually put into action, then, you know, nothing's gonna change, and then, you know, yeah, we're gonna die out, and then we really, really don't want that. We don't want to be the dinosaurs in this woman's you know, organization period of time in world history. So, you know, we want to stay on, and then we want to keep staying on as the leader. So yeah, no, we so I think we you know, past like the period of where people get used to like, you know, like accessing the Zoom and then trying to talk to each other and then learning the manners, like, you know, like muting your microphone while somebody else is talking and stuff. I think people got used to it by now. I think like people are educated. So I think now is the time to actually like maybe like, you know, like tell people like, okay, what can we do, and then like talk about the practicality of it. So it's, I know I haven't been to like every single webinars yet, so like maybe there were like webinars with like actual conversation like that, but the impression I got from the ones that I managed to attend in the past few months was that, yeah, we managed to talk, and then that's a really, really great start. And then for 2020, so 2019 was we get used to it. 2020, I think we want to like start actually making some actions.
Yeah, in terms of intergenerational dialogue, I think I have a few examples, but from my perspective, what is really important is to be very inclusive. And it's not always, you know, BPW giving the structure. It's also us as young BPW to invite like the older people in. So all the events that we actually organize in Zurich for young BPW was fully open for everyone. And we would, of course, make them public in our event overview, but actually we would go out specifically to people and tell them, have you ever attended a young BPW event? Why don't you come in and tell us a little bit about your story? So we kind of made him an active contributor into young BPW events and nurturing the dialogue, so that at the end, I mean, last year in Zurich, 50% of all the young BPW event participants were normal members, actually not young. And we found out that a lot of those, let's say, once you get out of the young category with the age of 35, you still have a lot of themes and topics on your plates that are still relevant, whether you're young or not. So I think making the content also accessible to all the generations, whether it's, you know, organizing a LinkedIn session to invite everyone in. The youngs come with the laptops, and there is a photographer, and, you know, especially people with the age of 40 or 50 that need to revise and renew their CVs for the professional life. They're mostly a little bit unprepared, and to help them out with the new, you know, digital tools that we have, and to be there as we talk about reverse mentoring. This has been some stuff that we've been doing in Zurich, and this was very successful.
I agree with you, Sheerah. It's important to open young BPW event to older members, so they can understand what young BPW members does and their interests. But I think that it's also important to build a sort of young BPW identity, just because I mean, I feel
I'm so sorry.
Okay, I feel this very important because of course the example of BPW Italy is very impressive, and we really have to build this group. We need to do things together just to create this common vision, because sometimes young BPW members join BPW, but they don't have maybe the same interest of the older members. So I think that it's important to combine, to organize meetings with open to the other members, but also create events just for young BPW. And yes.
Yeah, fully agree. I think dedicated agendas and different topics to cover specifically just for youngs and creating that safe environment. Totally agree with you, Benedetta. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ladies, for your input. So are we going to pause for a while so we can bring Tomi?
Thank you very much for the opportunity to contribute to the sustainability of this great institution. I must say that that it's a privilege for me. With the intergenerational dialogue that we've been having so far, my suggestion will be synchronizing a members portal where members have their username, password, profiles, and e-commerce sites where members can be synced, that's both old and young, where we can learn from each other, where we can connect as BPW members, because I think that most time we are not able to do that enough at our events. When we get to events, most of the time they are the events are mostly geared towards the goals of that event. So most of the time we don't really have time to network and build relationship with the older members. I think that, you know, in my experience as a creative entrepreneur, I know that setting up an institution like this is not a child's play, particularly an institution that has spanned for almost 100 years with great women that have done great work. And even though we have our the things that we want to improve on, we cannot underestimate or overemphasize the great work that has already been done by our great elders. And we have to leverage on both experiences, both knowledge and experiences. So with the sustainability of BPW, I suggest that there should be a platform where we can all, a flexible platform, I mean, because we have a website that is great, but it's a little bit rigid. It's not flexible enough for us to come up with so many creative ways to communicate and do things together. So in my opinion, I think that having a portal, a members portal, would be a great way to sync everybody together in a way that they can learn from us. There's reverse mentorship. There is learning platform, online learning platform and stuff. There is we can all leverage on our the BPW digital products, like the courses that I didn't even know that there were courses, but so I'm glad that there are courses that we can actually learn from and basically learn from each other.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Tomi. And with this, we go to the next topic for today.